What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for clicking on this video if you are new here. So today I wanted to make this super quick and talk about movies that I personally recommend if you want to wake up. Obviously there's movies like The Matrix and such, but I'm going to just give this list of my personal recommendations. I do recommend The Matrix, and a lot of people feel like, oh, we hear the terms like hidden in plain sight a lot, and so I'm gonna give a list of movies that to me are painfully obvious as to what's going on behind the curtain. They just put it right out there, and then that's why when things happen that are extremely crazy, the default response is, wow, it's like a movie. But we are living in a movie, and so we are in the movie. This is a movie. Alright, so the first one, I have this list right here. The first one is Eyes Wide Shut, a very popular movie. A psychological drama starring Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman that tells the story of a New York City doctor who discovers the world around him is crazier than he can imagine when he walks into the world of secret societies. The director, Stanley Kubrick, passed away 6 days after showing his final cut to Warner Brothers Pictures, and there's rumored to be a missing 23 minutes that was cut from the film, and it's alleged that Stanley was going back and forth with them and saying, no, you're gonna keep this in my movie, and they were like, no, we're not. So only Warner Brothers and God and whoever acted in those scenes know what was in those missing 23 minutes. This was his last film. Number 2 is The Island, which is a sci-fi film about a man named Lincoln Six Echo living in a very futuristic world where he and others in this futuristic world involuntarily participate in a lottery, and it's promised that the winners are going to be going to a very luxurious island and living the high life. Later on, they discover that they're clones in an underground world used for organ harvesting by the elites, and then the film basically goes from there. Number 3 is 12 Monkeys, starring Bruce Willis and Brad Pitt, about a worldwide outbreak that destroys most of the world's population in 1996, forcing everyone to live underground. Then in the year 2035, a man is sent back in time to stop the entire thing from happening, and things get much weirder from then on. I personally have not seen that movie, but I've seen trailers and read the reviews, and it seems like a pretty good movie, so I wanted to add it to the list. The 100, number 4. It's a post-apocalyptic show by the CW that also made shows like Rain, Arrow, those types of shows, where 100 young people are sent to live and survive on Earth after a nuclear apocalypse wiped out everyone except those who were able to leave and live on a space station called the Ark. So their goal is to find out if the Earth is habitable once again. Number 5, I'm putting 2 on the same sort of token, which are American Ultra and The Manchurian Candidate, because they're both films dealing with MK Ultra, which was a CIA program from the 1960s dealing with mind control. American Ultra is about a regular guy living in a small town who's actually a sleeper agent, and The Manchurian Candidate is an incredible political drama starring Denzel Washington and more actors that I don't know their names right now off of the top of my head, but it is a fabulous movie. Number 6, Snowpiercer, is another post-apocalyptic. You see, all of these things are following the same theme. I wonder why. But it is a post-apocalyptic film telling the story of people on a train, and the train holds the only survivors of an apocalypse. I do not remember if what happened to them went into detail about how it happened, but at this point we know that the people on this train are the only survivors, and the elites use everyone else as their slaves until rebellion happens, and the movie goes from there. I thought it was a very excellent movie, very sad movie, and very kind of infuriating, because when you start the movie, you start at the end of the train where basically all the slaves are, and by the time you get to the elites, you're just like, wow, these people really are just like so evil, the way that they're treating everybody else. Next, number 7. The Devil's Advocate, which is probably my favorite film on this list. Film or TV show on this list. Incredible. And literally, I give it a 20 out of 10 in my personal opinion. I could watch it over and over again. There's 3 films on here that are my super favorites. The Devil's Advocate. It is about a southern small town lawyer, Keanu Reeves, whose life changes for good and for worse when he gets the opportunity to work in New York City. And it is also based off of John Milton's Paradise Lost. Number 8, Jupiter Ascending. It tells the tale of a regular woman who's very into astronomy and finds out that she's basically the princess of a alien planet. I think that's how the movie goes. I've watched it twice, but I kind of got distracted, so that's my general overview of the movie. And if you watch my video, The Great Mystery Revealed Part 1, you'll know why I put this in here, because it deals with transhumanism and things hidden in plain sight in regards to, you know, ancient aliens and giants and all of that kind of stuff. And you'll see that video, and then you'll see why I put this movie in there. Okay, number 9, Prometheus. It's set in the late 21st century, and it centers on the crew of a spaceship called Prometheus, as it follows a star map discovered among the artifacts of several ancient Earth cultures. Seeking the origins of humanity, the crew arrives on a distant world and discovers a threat that could cause the extinction of the human species. Number 10, I'm putting these two movies into one. The Game, starring Michael Douglas. Fantastic film where a man who's played by Michael Douglas, his younger brother comes back into his life, and he used to be a drug addict, and he told him, look dude, my life changed for the better, and I went through this program, and I'm like a new man, and like I want you to basically do this whole thing with me where we go to this building and we get tested and da 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 da. So he's just like, well, you look good, you seem like you did change and all that kind of stuff, and so, alright, fine. And so they go take all these tests, and then basically his life falls apart, and there's a term that I am going to put on the screen because I cannot say it because of YouTube and all that kind of stuff, and he basically finds out that's what the movie basically deals with, and it's pretty crazy where you basically find out that the people around you are not who you think they are. And I thought the movie was fantastic, and I think, you know, all you need to do to see that more in real life is just watch the news. But so anyways, next topic. The other film, The Believers, starring Martin Sheen, not Charlie Sheen, Charlie Sheen's brother Martin Sheen. Fantastic. That movie and Devil's Advocate are like, and also Eyes Wide Shut are my favorite films on this whole list. Incredible. That movie just, every time I watch it, it blows my mind. The Believers with Martin Sheen has to do with a man living in San Francisco, and his wife tragically passes away in a complete freak accident, and he has to raise his son by himself. And what ends up happening is that he basically falls into the world of ritualistic sacrifice, dealing with children, and everything that it entails with the elites and all that kind of stuff. Great movie. And then the last movie on here is called Elizabeth's Harvest, and it is the story of a newlywed woman who seems quite sick at first. And she lives a secluded life with her wealthy older husband and his assistants, and she later discovers a disturbing secret. I'm gonna tell you because it's probably in the trailer if you watch it. She's a clone, and her husband has a room full of clones, and so she basically has to get to the bottom of what is going on here. Am I the reality that I thought I lived? Have I lived it, or has it just been implanted into me? Why does he have a room full of clones? What is going on here? And that is that. And so guys, thank you so much. I know for a fact that now that I'm sitting here, after I compiled this list and just made this video, I'm forgetting some. So I will put my super honorable mentions, but this is the list of movies that I highly, and TV shows that I highly recommend if you want to know what's going on. And they put these things in plain sight because they're not going to get on the news and talk to you guys about, you know, clones in an underground facility, because to you'll say, oh, it's like a movie. Go watch the movie to know what they're actually doing.